Hey guys, I'm back once again. This time I'm going to talk about something I haven't tried yet on this channel, talking about American football and about my team, Minnesota Vikings, which had a great start to the season 5-0 and since then after the bye week went 0-4 and had looked to say the least shaky, actually quite horrible. And I got to say, I'm really pessimistic about the future, like what is to come with this team, because there's no way this is going to work out with this situation with all the injuries and the change of the play calling. Even though Shermer probably can't do a damn thing about it since it's so ingrained into the team, the way they're playing, and I think it's way too conservative. But that's probably also one of the main problems with the team at the moment. They can't adapt. They're made in one way. They're made to play these kind of tight games where the defense has to pick up the slack, and they are not at the moment. And at the moment, I got to say it's probably the punting unit which has done the best job so far and been most consistent. But you can't do that much with this kind of O line and with an immobile quarterback. But you got to change up the pace. That this is not working at all. The running game is atrocious. They, I know they have thrown the ball a lot, at least in the last game here against the Redskins, but still trying running up the gut, it's not working at all. They had some mild success on the outside, even though I prefer them getting into man coverage, where I think the Vikings excels a lot more. I think there's a lot of leeway to make Stefan Diggs the great receiver that he is. I think Charles Johnson is nowhere near being good enough for this team. I can't see a future with him anymore. I think he sucks a lot, and he's not making the separation that is needed, and especially when you compare it to the pocket time that Bradford has at the moment, there's no way that he can work. I like Phelan. He got the intensity. He got everything. Rudolph is great as well. I'm a little disappointed with Red Ellison, but what the heck. I wish they could get Laquan going, but now he got a hamstring. For fuck's sake, man. And I thought they should have played him a lot more, even though he might not be prepared or needs some grooming time. But it's so stupid not to play him. Give him some experience for Christ's sake. He's such a high pick. He needs some experience, and to be honest, Charles Johnson is not making any difference. At least Laquan couldn't do some dirty works with the running game, making some blocks or setting up some screens, which the Vikings are trying so hard to use, which is not working at all because the receivers, even them, can't figure out how to do it. And then there's of course the O line, which is so depleted that it's more depleted than the U.S. economy. It's terrible. I can't imagine. I can't even find any kind of example of how bad this O line is working. It's not working together. It's making big mistakes. TJ Clemmings is a huge joke. He can't play for any other team in the league than Vikings, and it's just terrible. Sells is a kind of on and off. He's not good enough, to be honest. Boone, playing injured, not really bringing it that much. Fosco, mediocre. He would be fine enough if everybody around him would do a better job. Joe Berger, little iffy about him, but I think it, of course, it's about the tackles, and now Jake is out for the season, or Jake Long. It won't stop, and the defense is getting depleted as well at the receiver spot, and early on the safeties. Even though they got some backup, I still think it's looking quite shaky. I think the play calling has been appalling, especially on offense. It has gone a little bit on the show, just a little tad. I still can't figure why they're trying to run it on 3-1 or 2-1. Why they're not using a play fake. Why they have just established some kind of momentum. Then use it, for Christ's sake. And don't use that stupid thing. You need to keep it balanced. Well, you can clearly see by the hopeless yardage on average Vikings got on run. I don't think they are going to respect your run game that much, and clearly you're putting yourself at a disadvantage when you get way more yards through the throwing the ball than running it. You're basically wasting a down, which then prompts anyway that the other team is going to bull rush you on 3rd down when they know what you're going to do, and that's been the big problem of the season. It's so predictable, and it's so stupid. This kind of, I love Mike Zimmer, don't get me wrong, but I have to say it's so stupid, this idea that you can just play tight games and win each of them. You have to adapt. You can't just play this kind of game. You have to have some X factor in the way you're playing, and you can't rely on your defense to be stellar each week, which they have faltered completely last 4 weeks, but at least the last 3 weeks they have been terrible. But I still think you need to spice it up on the offense. First of all, the running game. I would say just as much. If you got some kind of momentum going with the throwing the ball, well, what do you know? Maybe they will back off a bit more, and you could have some chances. What about making some interesting plays? I don't know, a flea flicker. They have tried the end around. It's not working tremendously. I think the wildcat is working quite okay. I would like to see McKinnon actually throwing the ball. That would be quite funny. But it's more of a gimmick. It's kind of stupid, to be honest. But it's working kind of. But most of it is just poor execution, and the penalties. Jesus Christ. I would actually almost prefer that they got into a quarterback, or at least hit the running back or something, instead of making a holding, because a holding it negates any kind of momentum. And Vikings, Jesus Christ, they can't do jack shit when they are behind and down in distance, like a 1-20. You got to face it against a tough opponent. It won't work, and that tells you a lot about the Vikings, and that has been all the way since Zimmer has gotten here. But I got to the Vikings, and I know that's the philosophy, but you gotta realize that's a part of the NFL as well. You have to be able to adapt to a situation, and I think Vikings are not playing situational ball. They're playing more like a schematic ball game, and when it's not fitting, it's not fitting at all. And when the defense can't shut off the opponent like they couldn't do in the first quarter against the Redskins, which probably was the reason why they lost today, then you're in a deep hole, and you need your offense to do something it can't do because you're preaching the non-adaptive playing. And I think that Simmer needs somebody to inspire him a bit about what to do. And I think he could learn a lot from it. Um, and when he's talking about next man up, maybe he should watch the New England Patriots. It's not stars. It's still a team, player for player. Some of them are really great, but it's not like the O line is tremendous, but it's sufficient enough to make it work. And just some quick slants, just keep them off balance, keep them away. I don't understand why Bradford doesn't need 4 seconds to get the ball out. And it was the same problem with Teddy, the indecisiveness. You need to get it away ASAP when your line is not better than this. And I know the 4-1, the 3-1 with Adrian Peterson, it would probably work. And the running backs has been really bad. Jerry McKinnon, Matt Asiata, nowhere near where he should be at. Ronnie Hillman, hopeless situation, and all the plays he's making is getting completely shut down either, or the offense is making a holding penalty. It's impossible to make anything happen. I think my Simmer should fine every player, give them a fine for each penalty, because this is just horrendous. They'll take 10% of the stupid salary of the year if they keep making these errors. And I know it's something to do with O-line not being able to play together, not having played together that much and lacking synergy. But other teams can make this work, but they're not, because they are so stupidly conventional on offense. It's gotten a little better since Norway. You could basically predict a run game on first down, maybe also on second down and third down, you will throw it. And there's no way. You saw some of it today. It worked with the throwing game down the field. But Vikings is probably the most conservative team besides Kansas City Chiefs with throwing the ball downfield. And I understand they want the time of possession to work out, but you can just see how many times they go 3 and out, and half the time is due to them trying to run the ball, and it's wasting time for everybody because you're not gaining anything, and you need to be able to establish the throwing game of the passing game before you can enable this running game. It's like completely reverse from last year, where you need to have a sufficient run game before you can have a passing game. And last year it almost worked out. This year it's not working out at all. Even though he had a hopeless pick, Sam, in this late ball game, he's not a problem at all. He's doing quite good still. He had some problem against the Eagles and the Bears, but it's not his problem. So for me, it's not him at all. You can't blame him for not moving, for Christ's sake. We should just be happy that he's alive at the moment. And it's just, I don't know what the Vikings can do. They barely have any team or any players left on the O-line. If they get injured, it's done, completely done. I don't even know who's the backups to Searles or Clemmings. Or for even, I'm lost, I'm speechless. And the defense as well. There's a huge drop off from Kendricks. And Anthony Barr, he's alright, he's not where he should be. And I think that's a problem as well when he goes out. Really bad times when Monolin is out, and Xavier Rhodes, you can't understate how good he is. I think Vikings at the moment, the worst part of this downfall is the draft. They probably have to get somebody off the train, either one from defense or maybe they should consider AP. trading him away while he's worth anything. Of course, he's worth a lot, and getting something to make this offense renew it, make a completely throw to the wayside all the plans of conservatism and renew it all and try to find another way, maybe a more modern way of doing this, with not having the running game or the complete balance constantly being preached. I think you just have to find a way, and you need to have an adaptive offense. And at the moment we got neither. Even if AP was here, it wouldn't work. It's not like it's going to be magic if he comes back. It would probably tighten up the play calling even more further, because he's like the safeguard. But to be honest, that's not really the key to this. And then lastly, they have to really consider firing Blair Walsh. He's a liability. He's not making any kind of. He's probably picking off, taking away any kind of a momentum the Vikings have in any kind of ball game with his missed extra points. I don't know if he has a contract with the mob, or something about missed extra points per season, because this is atrocious. He was decent last year, but then missed against the infamous kick against the Seahawks, and ever since he's been dog shit. And I don't even care what you want to do. Probably when you change the setting for him, another club, he will be great again. I don't care. At the moment, he's not cutting it. You can't make it like we are going to wait till he works. Well, are you gonna lose 3 more games due to his stupid extra points misses, or not being reliable enough for you to go for a 50-yard field goal, even though he should do it each time, but you know he can't on a constant level. So he needs to go ASAP. Bring in some kickers, a kicker who at least can hit the extra points and be safe from 40, and then anything else. I think Sperano, this O-line looks like a catastrophe. I don't even know if he can do anything. Really tough luck with the season so far. Great start, got the ambition high, but this is just terrible to watch. And the problem again is that they need to get some draft picks. In my opinion, they should play more of the rookies. Try to see what they can do. I know you shouldn't sell the season, but at least try to implement them a little bit more, because this team needs something new. They need a spark, and at the moment, neither the offense or the defense are making any kind of sparks when they are playing. It looked really poor from the defense today. They couldn't stop anything. The running game Vikings are giving up way too many yards in the running game, missing so many tackles, open tackles in the backfield, where you should just wrap them up instead of going for the big play. They couldn't get credit to the Redskins O-line, but they couldn't bring any pressure, which has been a problem for the last 4 games. I think that Trey Waynes is a decent one. He needs to figure out with the hands still, but the more time he gets, he will get better and better. I think he's an alright cornerback at the moment and can be really good further down the line. Sendejo is not a pendejo in this year, but he's fine enough. Harrison, the hitman, so year. They need to do something about the Chet Greenway spot. Even though he played great against the Lions, I don't think he's good enough. And the backups and the linebackers are not good. The D-line is quite good, but they have as well let up some big runs. Then they're getting beat up front, and that is a terrible sign of things to come. And probably won't. I can foresee some really grim games again, at least that one against the Cowboys with their running game and passing game. It could go horribly wrong, and that is the problem with the Vikings. They are not made to get behind in any kind of situation, and because they got off to such a slow start, because they're so generic in their play calling on, and in basically any kind of effort coming from the players, it seemed like many other players would come with some extra surge, but it's not coming. The extra yards are not coming. They're not breaking the tackles. It's, the only one I can remember is Adam Thielen. He's making it happen. Cordero Patterson is making it happen. To an extent, maybe a little bit. What's he called? Stefan Diggs. But the rest of them on offense, nothing after the catch. And it's just not good enough. As well as the running backs, they're not breaking any kind of tackle. And I have to say, if you want to run the running game, they have to do some kind of throw it off, force the line to be thin, as thin as it can get, and then spread it out to the sides, maybe doing a bunch formation and try to incorporate something, and get Laquan in and make some blocking, or make Kyle Rudolph or Rhett Ellison or something. Pull the line, I don't know. Probably won't work either. Or I would say have a reverse screen, maybe. No, sorry, not a reverse. Where you pitch the ball back, where you go one direction, then you stop as a quarterback and throw the other direction. I think it's worked sometimes because the Vikings have a tendency, or maybe make a running back get the ball and goes to the outside and throw it back to a quarterback. Do something unsurprisingly, something you wouldn't expect, because this Vikings team is really lacking in that department. But to wrap it up, I hope you enjoyed this video and want to check out other videos on my channel. See ya.